Cartoons, the animated frontier. These are the voyages of the Cellcast podcast. Its continuing mission to explore strange new cartoons, to seek out new animation styles and new creative storytelling methods, to boldly go where so few ever go again. Welcome to another episode of the Cellcast. Joining me today is a man who, his quirk must be acting like a dog because he barks all the time. Welcome, Jacob.
Ruff, ruff. Hey, wait a minute. Where was it again? Oh, yeah. Why, thank you. I'd like to introduce our co-host. A man who just has a tendency of overthinking strategies like a certain main character. Welcome, Drew.
That just happens sometimes. I'm usually pretty good at keeping with the strategy. I've interrupted any time.
Yada, yada, yada,
yada. Mumble.
Shut up, Deku!
Just those little bitty onomatopoeias coming out of the mouth and circling around everywhere. How are you doing, Jacob?
I am doing very well, and I'd like to introduce our co-host, a man who has a fiery passion and is angry about everything about the main character. Welcome, Aaron.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me back on.
Well,
Not a problem, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Glad to have you back.
I tell you, I am very excited to talk about this because My Hero Academia is probably my favorite anime on television right now.
I can very much understand that.
Yes.
It's a very fun one. Alright, so how is everybody?
Good.
Are we all good?
Good.
I'm doing well.
Okay.
I'm feeling plus ultra.
I'm glad you've been able to go beyond this horrible pandemic we're in.
Yeah, a little bit.
Jacob, you want to start the interrogation?
All right, so interrogation time. All right, so ever since we are talking about My Hero Academia, two heroes, so Aaron, who in the Hero Academia universe, who is your favorite character?
Well, that's a tough one. I feel like Midoriya is probably a obvious answer. He's the main character.
Mm-hmm.
It's his story, his rise to glory, kind of from rags to riches.
Yeah.
So I guess I would have to say that, Midoriya is probably my favorite character, but Todoroki is a very close second character.
I got you.
Gotta love the icy hot.
Battle of the Icy Hop. There we go.
Well, I like characters who have like complex trauma in their background, and he definitely has that with Endeavor and his family in general. So, and seeing him go from a hero who was not willing to use both sides of his powers to now using both sides of his powers is amazing.
That was an
That's
amazing
a great
moment
story
in season
arc.
two.
Yeah,
in the
very
second
good.
season.
All right, so who's your least favorite character in Class A1?
Oh,
1A.
This is the easiest question you could possibly ask me.
It's the easiest question you could probably ask any My Hero fan.
Yeah, and if we all have the same one, then I'm not going to be surprised, but I still will laugh. I am not a fan of Mineta.
I don't think anybody is.
He's just, I understand that he fulfills an archetype of the pervy Japanese character, but he just, aside from, I will say this, he does have a very cool moment in the third season. I won't say what it is, but he does have a pretty cool moment in that season. But for the most part, he's just kind of, he takes up space.
Annoying.
Yeah, agreed.
And
I mean, if that any time there's going to be a pervy joke that could be made, he will be there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
And some of these attack names that they have for their techniques is awesome. But when your battle cry is have some of my sticky balls.
Yeah.
It just can't be taken seriously.
No, it can't.
So yeah, Mineta
I worry
definitely-
about him as a pro hero, to be honest.
Oh my goodness. I don't know how he's still alive, if I'm being honest. I mean,
because
fallen to peril
he
so
trains
much.
with the rest of Class 1A.
true. True.
I mean, there's a reason Krillin, heck, there's a reason Yamcha is not dead yet this time.
Yeah, Dragon Balls.
Oh,
Was
gosh.
still able to hold his own for 5 minutes.
So true. All right, so going into more of the... Okay, so I keep seeing this all over the internet. Okay, so with My Hero Academia, who's your favorite girl?
Yes.
Best girl.
It is
whoever.
an anime. We have to ask who is best girl.
Yeah, best girl.
Oh, that's also easy. Uraraka.
Wrong, it's Froppy.
Okay, yes, I do like Froppy as well. She's probably my second favorite. Sue,
Yeah,
she is
Froppy's-
adorable.
Sue, yes.
But Uraraka, I don't know. It's just kind of the girl next door feel I get from her.
Agreed.
That's fair.
Agreed.
And I do
She
like
is
the little...
She is designed to be the cutest character to make you fall in love with her as fast as possible.
That is true.
She is, and I really like the dynamic between her and Midoriya, and kind of that secret crush that I think they both have on each other, but they're just not acknowledging.
Yeah, that's true.
Also love the fact that the animators paid attention, and since she is the poorest character on the show, she's also the only one with a flip phone, while everyone else has a smartphone.
Oh,
That
you
is
know what?
true.
I have
That
never
is true.
noticed
That is true.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Deku has a smartphone. Uraraka, on the other hand,
She's got a little
is
flip
still rocking the flip phone.
Yeah, which I believe that's her main reason for wanting to become a pro is because
Yeah.
she wants to make a lot of money so she can support her mom and dad.
Which that's awesome.
It's cute. I love that.
Yeah.
All right, so within this universe, what power set would you most desire? And it can't be all for one.
Or one for all.
Or one for
I was
all.
about to say, okay, well then. So I guess this really what you're asking is what is my favorite power?
Yeah. What
Yeah.
quirk would you like to have?
Yes.
Man, I feel like I can't answer this without spoiling some stuff for the future. Okay, I will say there's a character that's coming, and anyone who's current on My Hero Academia will know this. There's a character coming who is also a student in 1A, and he's known as one of the big three, basically the top 3 UA students. I'll just say this. The whole class fought him, minus Bakugo and Todoroki, and, he destroyed Class 1A by himself. He has a quirk. Do y'all want me to tell you what the quirk is?
Sure.
Okay.
We gotta know what the power is.
Okay, so he has an ability and a quirk called permeation. So permeation, what that does is, while he's
I know who you're talking about now.
Okay, yeah. While he's holding his breath, he can move through any solid surface whatsoever. And
He has a phasing ability.
basically, yes. But it's not just that. The quirk alone isn't what makes him special. It's how much he's trained. I will say this. Aizawa.
From what I've read about this character, isn't it the one that All Might was originally going to give the quirk to?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
That was the case. And even Aizawa, as cynical as he is, said that of all the candidates that he knows, that he has the best chance of being the world's new symbol of hope. And that includes the current pros. So it's not just that this quirk is powerful, it's because he puts so much effort into wielding it to perfection. And to see him in action in later seasons is amazing.
All right.
So, Jacob, I'm going to throw you under the bus. What quirk would you like to have?
Well, it definitely wouldn't be able to bark. That is a tough one. That is a real tough one.
Rough Ultra.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Jiminy's.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, beans.
Snap.
Crackle Pop, Rice Krispies.
It's the snack that smiles back.
Exactly.
Scooby snacks.
Ray.
I watch a lot of commercials. Moving
Yes, we all do sometimes. Oh, dude, I really don't know. There's more.
And just remember, you don't have to limit it to Class 1A. You can choose any quirk that you've seen in the show so far.
Oh, okay.
I know what mine would be, but I still have questions about it because we only saw it in this movie. And I'm curious if he actually can revert back to a human form, but I kind of want Godzilla.
Oh, gosh.
my gosh.
I want Toho, but I want to know, does he have to stay at full kaiju size, or does he at least get to turn back into a human size for a while? Because that not being able to be a human size is going to make some stuff pretty tough.
Huh.
That would be great. Whenever they showcased him, I couldn't help but laugh. I was like, okay. Yeah, I get it. Y'all are from Japan.
No, it's not just that.
Godzilla.
This is from the same company that produces Godzilla is the one that distributes this show in Japan. They're both Toho.
So they took the King of Monsters.
That's why when he does the roar in this movie, it is the Godzilla roar. It's not fake version. It's the real Godzilla roar.
When you need a hero who's part kaiju and part house hunting website.
Okay, so
You
I
gotta
do
be very careful because he could really drop the property value really quick.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Can you imagine what the insurance rates are in Japan at this point? From all the kaiju nonsense.
Can you imagine how bad his insurance rates
Good
are?
night.
Sneeze real bad, boom, the house is gone, atomic blast, anger going into the air. I'm assuming he's got Godzilla's atomic blast. We don't know. All we saw was at Godzilla size.
Yeah.
He did throw up a peace sign, though.
Yes.
He did. All right, so I think I did find my quirk, and I remember correctly, this was in season 2, I believe. It was one of the characters he could temporarily absorb quirks for for a couple of minutes. He could absorb someone else's quirk.
Oh,
use it.
And then use it.
Then use that quirk.
Okay, yeah. I know the one you're talking about. I can't think of what that one's called.
I'm trying to think of the character, because I think I know what you're talking about.
He's someone in Class 1B.
Yeah, he's a 1B.
Because again, he was in the final. He was in the final tournament.
Yeah,
I just can't think of his name because it's the one that. Oh shoot. Anyway, I can't think.
Yeah, because almost you can imagine me you absorb a little bit of Deku's power and just go way nuts on something.
Yeah,
Assuming that could actually be
powers or anybody
assuming his power ain't. We'll get into this, but Midoriya's quirk is so different. I don't know if his quirk would actually work with that, but
maybe.
Anyway.
Yeah, just something just the ability to absorb someone else's quirk for a short period of time, and able to use it to your advantage.
Okay, Rogue.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, that's what it is.
All right. Any other questions for our guest?
Okay, so last one. If you were stuck and you had no quirk in the My Hero universe, and you were in a life and death situation, and you could not you had to choose one hero to protect you, and it couldn't be anyone from
Class 1A.
No, not even that. It'd be your lower tier ones from Class 1A. So it couldn't be your big characters. It had to be the smaller characters.
Okay, so is this limited to students or also to pros?
Just students.
Just students? Okay. I'm really glad you've lobbed me such easy questions. I would have Aizawa protect me.
Isn't he the teacher?
Yes, Eraserhead. The one who, if he looks at somebody, he could deactivate their quirk.
That is true, but
Yeah.
also he's not a student.
Oh, I thought you
Yeah,
said it wasn't. I thought you said it wasn't for students. It was for only pros.
No. It's one of the he
No, it has
has
to be
it's
one of the
one of the
students.
students.
Oh, okay.
But
My
not
mistake.
any
Yeah.
of our main guys.
Oh,
Yeah.
goodness. Okay, that's going to be a little bit more difficult.
Yeah, you say you're saying the lower tiered ones. I'm thinking they're all kind of the same tier.
Well, yeah, but not the main focus characters like Bakugo and
okay, so not
Bakudo, Deku.
not Midoriya, not Bakugo, not
Todoroki.
Uraraka or
Todoroki or any of those guys.
Whatever Jet Engine Boy's name is.
Yeah, the head of the class.
Sorry, my brain just went
Ida.
dead.
Ida.
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 Yeah. Oh, man.
Not the main friendship squad.
I'm not great. I'm not great at... Well, hold on.
That's why I have a list of the characters pulled up. Just for that reason.
Okay, I probably would want to go with... And it could be somebody in 1A as long as it's not the main 6 or
Exactly.
7. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
For sheer utilitarian reasons for how useful their core can be, I would say... Oh, I can't think of her name. But Creati, the hero Creati, the one who can use her quirk to create things.
Yeah, Momo?
Yeah, Momo.
Momo, that's it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I would definitely go with her, I believe, because I feel like whatever the situation is, she would be able to create something to protect me or preserve me. Her combat isn't, super up there, but as a utilitarian hero, she's fantastic.
Well, excellent. Well, I think that's the last of the battery of devastating questions I'm going to give to you, Aaron.
Oh, no. No more questions.
Which brings me to my question, Aaron.
Oh.
What have you been watching?
What have I been watching? Well, most recently I watched My Hero Academia 2 Heroes.
Jacob's the one named after cheaters, not you.
Oh, man. So I have been current on My Hero Academia, and it actually just occurred to me. We actually talked about this movie very briefly the first time I recorded with you guys when we did the episode of Space Jam. This was on what I had been watching recently, and I had just watched 2 Heroes for the first time, and now here I am watching it again to review it with you guys a year later. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Otherwise, lately I have been watching... I'm all up in the Disney Plus Marvel shows. They've been excellent so far.
Aren't we all?
Yes.
WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier have both been mind-blowingly good for different reasons.
Yeah.
I have been, on the animation side, I've been watching... I tell you what, probably my top 3 animes right now, one, of course, being My Hero Academia. Another one is called Is It Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon?
Oh, gosh.
I know that one.
Yes.
So I have watched the first season like a long time ago, and then it took a long time for the second season to come out. So I rewatched the first season, and then watched the second season. And the third season is available on Hulu, but it hasn't been dubbed yet. And once I start a show in one language format, that's what I stick with.
Fair enough.
So I'm waiting for season 3 to be dubbed. But it's been really incredible, and season 2 is very different from season 1, which I really like because it helps keep it fresh but still relevant. So if you guys have not watched that yet, I definitely recommend it. But more than that,
I've seen parts of season 1.
Okay.
I've not finished it.
Yeah. More than that, though, and this show, Actually, I say My Hero Academia is my favorite, but really, honestly, it kind of goes back and forth between that one and this one. I devoured Demon Slayer once I started watching it.
That is a good show. I stopped because it's like, I really want to watch this in English.
Yeah, it's very good. And I did wait for the English dub, and it is phenomenal. And I want to watch the second season, but it's not coming out for a little bit. But we are getting a movie where the series ends. There's going to be like kind of a mini arc, and they're going to make a movie version of that. And I think it's supposed to come out to theaters here soon, like within the next month or so. So hopefully I'll be able to catch that.
Cool.
Otherwise, I guess this is a little late, but, you know, I did watch season 2 of Mandalorian, which had a fantastic ending.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise...
Have you finished Mandalorian yet?
Huh?
Have you finished Mandalorian season 2
No,
yet?
I haven't.
Oh, man. You are... dude, you are in for...
You could have finished it back at New Year's.
I could have.
You could have if you'd have come over.
Yeah, I was busy.
Yeah, you're in for a treat, sir. I'll say that. You're in for a treat.
Oh, yeah.
The last episode...
The last 15 minutes.
Yeah, the last 15 minutes are going to blow you away. Okay, so...
It's got one of my favorite lines.
Okay, I want to hear what it is, but let's talk about that after we record.
It will spoil... It'll be after we kick Jacob out, but before I cut you off.
Excellent. So...
Let's just say it has something to do with a certain type of ship. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, okay, yes. I think I already know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's about all I have to say.
Yeah. So, the last thing that I would like to report that I've been watching, also animated, I watched Justice League Dark Apocalypse War. Have you guys seen that yet?
No.
Okay, so Jacob, I know you've seen the original Justice League Dark because I watched it with you. I believe, anyway.
No.
That wasn't you?
That was
you
me.
know what? Maybe I watched it with Jim.
Probably.
Okay.
It's
Have you
really
seen...
sad to be confused with Jim.
Well, also, the first one came out like 3 years ago.
That's true.
Did you ever watch the first one, Jacob?
Justice League Dark?
Yes.
No, I'm borrowing from Jim. I just haven't watched it yet.
Okay, so here's the deal. Justice League Dark is exactly that. It's dark. It has to do with the magical side of the Justice League. So, like John Constantine, Zatanna, Deadman, basically the ones who are kind of more in tune with like the supernatural and the arcane of the world. So, Apocalypse War, I think this is one of the last movies that they're doing in this current series that they've been doing for DC animated films, which, from what I can tell, seem to be kind of mirroring like New 52.
Mm-hmm.
So, the movie is like cripplingly depressing. Like, it's rough. It's rough. It is like rated R, and it's a hard R. Like, it is. It is bad. It's good. The movie's fantastic. But like what happens in it is horrible. Definitely not for kids. It's
I gotcha.
Yeah, you see heroes that you've loved your entire life just ripped limb from limb. So you can't really yeah. Like it's basically Marvel's equivalent of Infinity War. Oh no, all these heroes are dying. What's happening? So I definitely recommend.
The end of the world as we
know it. And I don't feel fine.
And I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
Oh no, no.
I can't feel my spleen.
I was okay. All these people were disappearing. I'm like, okay. I mean, yeah, this makes sense. Thanos said he was going to get rid of half the universe.
We knew it was going to happen.
And we knew it was going to happen.
And we knew half the characters had to be gone for the second half.
Yes.
Right. But it was kind of like, okay, they're gone. Oh, they're gone. Oh, they're gone. And then I got to Peter Parker. I didn't feel any emotion until I got to Peter Parker. And then
I don't feel good, Stark.
It's like all that pain hit me at once from all the other characters. I was like, huh? And, you know, like he was saying, like, I don't feel good. I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, because he's a kid. He was a frightened child who was afraid of dying. And, then you could obviously see that weight that Tony felt in his failure.
Mm-hmm.
And, and it definitely carried with him for the first part of Endgame as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, what a good film. Good 2 films.
Yes.
But, yeah, so that's what I've been watching lately. Sorry, that was probably pretty long-winded. It's been a deep well that I've been perusing in lately.
All right. Jacob, what have you been watching?
Oh, let's see. Beyond, I watched Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade the other night, which is a fantastic film beyond belief.
We named the dog Indiana.
Yeah. I like the dog.
It belongs in a museum, Dad.
So do you. But it's just, but honestly, be like, between Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark and The Last Crusade, like, they both have very good merits as films. I just don't know which one's best. I think if I was to boil it down to its essence, I think The Last Crusade is probably the best film. So to kind of throw it to you, what is your favorite Indiana Jones film?
Now, hang on. There's a difference between best and favorite.
Okay.
And I have to say that because my favorite is Temple of Doom.
Okay.
And I know that's a minority, but I will freely admit it's not the best Indiana Jones movie. It's just my favorite Indiana Jones movie.
I protest because I watched that movie not too long ago, and I was like, I don't understand why people don't like this film.
I don't understand why people don't like it either. I'm just saying it's not number 1 of the 3.
It's not like watching Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but like, okay, I know why people don't like this one.
I don't know why you're bringing up the fan film.
Right?
Okay. In that film's defense, be like, the majority of the film was fairly good. I'm not saying it was great. I'm saying it was fairly good.
Verifying. Temple of Doom or the fan film?
The fan film.
Okay, verifying.
Crystal Skull was a fairly decent film until it went into, it's about aliens, and like, yup.
You know what?
I have to call it the fan film because on our on one of the podcasting networks we're on, that Kingdom of the Crystal Skull doesn't officially exist.
Oh.
Y'all have erased it from the timeline.
But it does exist.
It does not exist.
So here's the deal about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
They are making a 4th movie. It's coming out in 2 years.
Yes.
It's just not Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
So the thing about Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, the old term, when a show jumps the shark, that means that it's usually like it's on its last legs or it's going to die. So Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull got to coin a new term that I like using, which is nuking the fridge.
Yes, nuke the fridge.
Something
this show is really
happens on screen so ridiculous, the movie can't recover.
Yeah, and then he just kicks the door open like nothing happened.
Yeah.
Like his shirt's not even untucked. It's like what's going on?
Okay, funny fact about that scene. Do you know where that actually came from?
The mind of Steven Spielberg?
Yeah. No, it didn't. But he got the idea from someone else.
I thought George Lucas had done that one.
Bob Zemeckis.
George Lucas produced all of them, but Steven Spielberg did direct that movie. Yeah,
he actually got it from Bob Zemeckis. It was the first idea for the time machine in Back to the Future. It was supposed to be a refrigerator.
But there's a reason Back to the Future didn't use that, and it's the same reason Kingdom of the Crystal Skull shouldn't have used it.
Just saying, that's where it came from.
A time-traveling refrigerator, which admittedly is dangerously close to a TARDIS.
That is true.
And a hot tub.
How in the world are people getting around in these things? A DeLorean makes sense.
Yeah.
It is much cooler.
Know.
The time machine, yes. The actual DeLorean, no. The car is cool. Don't get me wrong. The engine and transmission of those things are abysmal. What do you think in the second and third Back to the Future they switched over to like Porsche engines?
Well, they'd been to the future. Of course he got the engine improved. I mean, they got rid of the crappy...
Runs on compost now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Mr. Fusion.
And Mr. Fusion. That way you don't have to steal plutonium from the Iranians.
Libyans.
Whatever.
I tell you what, I wouldn't mind rehydrating a pizza.
I don't know. That'd be kind of weird.
Yeah.
So weird.
Rehydrated
Took place so long in the future, but it still looked like the 80s.
Yeah, that is so true. The 80s was a weird
And
time. Let's say that.
And it's so weird how Back to the Future 2 got very, very close on so many predictions that actually happened in 2015.
Where are our hoverboards?
We had hoverboards.
No, actual
They
hoverboards.
were called hoverboards.
I know.
The Cubs almost won a World Series.
That is true. We don't have hover conversion yet.
I feel like the Cellcast and the Movie of the Week podcast have entered into a marriage in this episode. Because we've been talking about movies. We've talking about movies just as much as we're talking about anime.
Yeah, this is going to be a long episode.
Yes,
I can
it
already
will.
tell.
All right, so I think other than the poster, which
Brought it to your mind?
yeah, no, I didn't even think about it. I just looked up and it's like, oh, you got the poster.
Yes, I have the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade poster on the wall.
Honestly, I wasn't thinking about it. I looked up and it's like, oh, there's the poster.
Which, just facts about Aaron, The Last Crusade is my favorite of the movies.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. But, yeah, I think that's the only actual film besides movies or whatever I watched before watching Two Heroes. Mm-hmm. So, what have you been watching, Drew?
Well, let's see. I've watched, of course, Two Heroes. Of course, I watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier when it came out this Friday.
I still need to catch up on that one.
Not much really else besides some YouTube things, because I recently got myself a little black box
with a little X on it.
Yeah, an Xbox Series X. I've been playing that more than I've done anything else.
Did you get that fatty Xbox Series X?
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to also get a PlayStation 4, and I crunched the numbers and I realized the only one of the two that makes sense to get the quote-unquote downgraded version was the PS5, because at least it's the only difference is the lack of disc drive, whereas the Series S is actually not as good as the X, even with the disc drive. So, yeah. So I got the Series X. I'm enjoying what little I've gotten a chance to play of it so far, but, you know, it is what it is. So yeah, that's about what I've watched. It's not been much. Outside of a stupid little magical girl anime I found at Crunchyroll showing, but let's move on. Since we don't have news, because we're recording this out of order,
yes,
we're going to just drop this somewhere in there. We're not even sure where yet. We have not actually gotten a chance to review My Hero Academia, the show, yet, even though we did watch all of season 1 and 2. Me and Jacob did before we watched this movie. So I thought we could at least talk about our thoughts on My Hero Academia, the show. So, since Aaron, you're our guest, go ahead, nerd out.
Okay, all right. So, My Hero Academia, the first season, really good. You know, it starts out a little slow with, you know, Midoriya having to come into All Might passing on One for All to him.
Mm-hmm.
And the training he had to do, it was slow in some parts, but, you know, once they got into the crux of the show, you know, getting him into Class 1A at UA High, it starts getting really good. I love a good ensemble anime, and this one is definitely, like, ranks up there at the top because of all the really cool, diverse characters. Because I like dynamics, and there are several dynamics in here that I appreciate a lot. So, yeah, we got this story about this young kid named Izuku Midoriya, who desires to become a hero, in a world that's full of heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And he finds out that he's quirkless. So that's, heart-wrenching. But then he displays his valor and bravery, despite all that, to rescue Bakugo from that sludge monster in the very first episode. All Might, seeing his bravery, decides to help him try to become a hero, despite the fact that he has no quirk. And at that moment, he passes One for All to him through a strand of his hair. It's a weird way to transfer power, but, I guess it works. So
there are a lot of worse things that contained All Might's DNA that could be used.
Yeah.
Just saying. Just
a drop of blood probably would have also done it.
Mm-hmm. Or spit.
Yeah. Or snot.
Oh, gross. Oh, man. Maybe hair was the best course of action.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a bit.
So, but I don't know. You guys have gotten a hair in your mouth. It's always awkward.
Oh,
you try to get it out, you can't get it out. You try to reach in and grab it, and you come close to just like putting your fingers too far down your throat and making yourself throw up. Yeah. So
okay. So I sorry.
Go
I do have a story kind of related to that. And Drew's heard this one, but I'm going to tell
about related to eating hair.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh boy.
All right.
I just wanted to verify this fact.
So back between high school and college, me and this young lady were hanging out. We weren't technically dating, but apparently both we were asthmatic. And so one day I'm hanging out at her house, be like the casual custom is you put your inhaler on the table just in case. So we're hanging out. I go home. A couple of days later, I feel myself having an asthma attack.
You got laughing again, didn't you?
No, no, that's a story for another day. But no, I feel my trachea just kind of closing up, and it's okay. So I shoot it, nothing's coming out. Okay, so I shoot it again, not working. So okay, so the protocol, it's okay. Just take a really deep breath and just fire as much as you can, and there'll probably be like a little residual in the bottom. So I shoot it, and I just start gagging. I throw it, just like I'm gagging my head off, and I'm like, "What in the world?" So I'm like, I pull it, and I finally get a hold of what it is, and it's just multicolored hair. I'm like, I grabbed Sherry's inhaler by mistake. I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Yeah, it was very funny when I told her. She kind of laughed.
That's not the way you want to find out you took someone else's inhaler by accident.
No, you don't.
But go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, yeah, and of course in season 2, you see the students kind of come into their own a little bit. Season 1 ends with a huge training exercise they're doing, getting ambushed by the League of Villains. Mm-hmm. And then you get to see just how
dangerous the world is.
Well, how dangerous the world is, but also how ingenuitive and brave Class 1A is. Mm-hmm. Because they really hold their own a lot there, at least against kind of the weeb villains. Of course, it ends with All Might coming in to save the day, as per usual. He's kind of like the Goku of this series.
I'd say he's more of the Piccolo.
Yeah. Okay, yeah,
not just because he's voiced by Christopher Sabat.
Right, no, but also because he's actually training. Yes, that's very true.
He's an actual father figure.
Yeah,
right.
And unlike Goku, who just cares more about fighting and
my son.
like, yeah, son, be like, yeah, fight this villain. He's down to his like, but hey, villain, here's a Senzu bean. Make the fight more fun.
Right.
It's like, what kind of father are you?
An idiot.
Exactly.
Goku is the man who doomed 13 separate universes to nearly be destroyed if his team didn't win.
Yeah.
Just because he wanted to
fight. A giant tournament. Just because he wanted to fight. It's like, Goku, shut up. Just go away.
Poor Beerus. It has to be the biggest restraint in the world that Beerus hasn't killed that man yet.
Now, great. Like, I've only watched like a handful of Super, primarily through the movies, and I'm like, okay,
the show is different.
Yeah, I
mean,
can
the
imagine.
first 2 arcs are, I adaptations of those movies,
Mm-hmm.
but even what they adapt is different. So, yeah, the show is different than the movies.
Okay.
I will say that you can get the gist of it though from the movies.
Yeah.
But
It's just
yeah,
you
later
do actually get to see how Vegeta gets Super Saiyan Blue. But anyway,
yeah, that is true. So,
sorry, I said that wrong.
No, it's,
Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan.
yeah. Just say
Sorry,
just
my
say
bad.
Blue. It's fine. No one got time to say Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan.
So stupid.
It's so
Agreed.
And that's the English version. The Japanese version is worse
Yeah. Oh no.
because you have to add the suffix "jin" after every Saiyan.
Saiyajin, oh yeah.
Saiyajin. It's like
Super Saiyajin God, Super Saiyajin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
Whoa.
Moving on.
So, season 2 starts, and they're starting to kind of get their... is that the professional license? Or that actually might be the third season. Sorry. So...
second season...
they get to go mentor.
They get to their mentors.
Yeah, the mentorship.
Right, and but that's after the UA tournament, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's after
Which
the sports
is
festival.
awesome. The sports festival, that's
The greatest sports festival I've ever seen in an anime.
Yes, it was very
True.
good. Very good. So, yeah, the series definitely had... The first 2 seasons definitely had its highlights. Season 1 being the attack on UA training grounds, the sports festival in season 2, and of course the showdown with Hero Killer Stain.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And also Deku getting to meet All Might's former teacher, Gran Torino.
Mm-hmm.
And Gran Torino teaching Midoriya a way to use One for All that doesn't destroy his body.
Finally.
Right. So you get to, see that huge growth in Midoriya as he's starting to become his own version of his own hero instead of idolizing All Might so much.
Yeah. Actually learning how to use the ability.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, I think what makes me such a big fan of My Hero Academia, the show has so much heart. There is so much heart in it, and a lot of it comes from Deku, of course. But, between all the complications and all the character growth, it's just a fun ride. And the fight scenes, while they aren't as numerous in some action animes, every fight scene, once you're there, is worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
And
Because they are some of the most outrageous fight scenes you'll see.
yes,
Because of the diverse amount of power sets.
right. It's kind of like watching fights in One Piece, with whatever, depending on what kind of devil fruit someone was wielding.
Except you don't have to watch over 1,000 episodes to understand what's going on.
Because no one has time for that.
Nah.
So, but yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on season 1 and 2 of My Hero Academia.
So
it only gets better.
So I have a question for both of y'all. Did y'all catch the 3 Star Wars references in season 1 and 2?
I did not.
Oh.
I remember you talking about
Yeah.
it, but I'm drawing a blank.
The town that Deku lives in is Tatooine.
Tatooine, that's right.
The beach that All Might has him train on is Dagobah.
Yeah.
Dagobah Municipal Beach. And Todoroki, the town he grew up in was Naboo. They never say this out loud, it's just on signs.
Yeah.
I love that. Because it's like, okay, the guy who wrote this does actually know his Western stuff. He's not just fronting.
There's going to be a scene in season 3 that is just going to be a mishmash of so many Western properties
Oh, yeah.
that it's going to make you guys smile.
So what I'm liking about the show so far that I've watched it is almost the perfect mashup of the Western superhero genre and shonen anime. It is the perfect mashup. It does everything I like from both types of stories, and it does it both well. And it's kind of strange that it's coming from Japan, because I actually did not expect that to be the case. Maybe it's just because here in America we still can't get anime right. But, except for one show. We won't get into Avatar right now, but
I feel like Teen Titans was also good.
yeah, but it still felt like it was anime for anime's sake, not just not that it doesn't feel like it really helped the show that much.
Gotcha.
Like it was necessary. It felt like a trend that it was following, which I do think it was.
Okay, that's fair.
That's just an opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the original Teen Titans show. It's a great show. It's just, look, Samurai Jack actually does a good job of doing that too, even though it's still very much a Western art style.
Right.
But yeah. But I mean, the show has got great characters. I like how every character from Class 1A, at least we've had a hint of a deeper story, or all the characters are well thought out. There's no one there that's uninteresting. I mean, there's a character we I don't like, but then, hey, you got to have that character in there too.
You gotta have the creep.
You got to have the creep. And I like how Bakugo, despite being the evil, the guy you expect to be the villain.
Mm-hmm.
I expected him from the very beginning. It's like, okay, this guy is going to get like kicked out of UA in the first season, and he's going to go join the villain side. He's going to do that whole thing. No, from what I can tell, he really is a hero. It's just he's mad at Deku for showing him up half the time.
You guys have to watch season 3 as soon as possible.
Okay, then. Challenge accepted.
It's coming. It's coming. Trust me.
We'll get there when we get there.
I will buy the Blu-ray when I can. But yeah, the show, I love that Bakugo is not just your stereotypical villain, or guy who's going to be the villain. Or at least doesn't look like it so far. And yes, I have seen the pictures of Bakugo's mom. So I know that something happens.
I think it's also in season 3, you actually meet his parents.
Yeah.
So you only seen a picture. You haven't actually seen her in the show in seasons 1 and 2.
I didn't see her on the show. I saw a picture of her on the internet.
Yeah, I think it was.
So it might be from that episode.
So much happens in season 3.
Yeah, season 3 is one I need to get into. I just hadn't gotten around to it.
Yeah, you're fine, man. You'll get there.
But yeah, it's just. It's one of the few shows I can actually sit back and binge, because, as y'all know, I am horrible at binging. I'm not normally a binger. I do better usually when I watch week to week, and this is the exception to that rule, because if I try to watch it week to week, I actually get bored with it. If I watch it all at once, I don't realize 3 hours have passed, or that I finished season 1 in one sitting.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, this is just a great show. I mean, it's one of the few that really gets me pumped when it's time to watch anime. So, don't get me wrong, I love anime, but so much of it is not, doesn't get me as pumped like this does. I think the only other show that got me close was Demon Slayer.
Yes.
So yeah, that's my thoughts on My Hero. Jacob, your thoughts?
I love the writing in this show. The writing is so well executed. You have incredible character development. Like, even to your very minor characters of Class A1, they at least get one story beat. They get one episode dedicated to them in some regard.
Yes.
So it's not Dragon Ball Z where you might get like
there's cast of thousands, and we might see a major character in the background of an episode.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. I mean,
or Akira Toriyama will completely forget a character exists for 3 whole story arcs.
It'd be like it's
sorry, Launch.
Whatever happened to her?
We don't know. He admitted to forgetting that she existed when he started the first story arc with Gohan in it.
Who?
Launch. Launch was a character, or Lunch, depending on which version. She was a character from Dragon Ball, the original Dragon Ball.
Okay.
She was a young lady who Goku and Krillin had to find so that Master Roshi would train them. Because he wanted a hottie.
Oh, okay.
And the hottie they got was a young girl named Lunch.
Okay.
And every time she sneezes, she switches personalities.
Oh, okay.
And turns into Launch, who will kick everybody's butt if she finds out anyone's doing anything to her.
Oh, okay.
So, of course, the comedic timing is every time Roshi is going to try and do something, he ends up getting launched into the stratosphere. And apparently she, from what I remember, she fell in love with Tien and chased him around during those couple years. And then, like, Akira Toriyama, the writer of the manga, forgot she existed going into the next show.
Oh my gosh! Really?
Because he took a break.
Yeah,
fate worse than death.
He took a break. That's why the show separates there. And when he brought it back, that was the one character he forgot to at least say anything about. The anime, at the very least, does have a scene where someone says, "Hey, whatever happened to Lunch?" And you see her asleep in a bar halfway on the other side of the world. It's like, well, at least the anime remembered her. The manga artist completely forgot, and still to this day she has not shown up in Super.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah,
I miss this character. I've never seen her before.
Yeah,
now I miss this character.
Exactly. Go back and watch the original Dragon Ball. It's actually better than most people remember.
Okay. All right. So be like you like I said, be like you have episodes where it emphasizes different characters from Class 1A, and most of the time you don't get that. Be like you get like your little core hardcore characters, and that's it. You might get like, oh, this character might say something, or like a character like Floppy. Like Froppy. I'm sorry. Supreme would kill me.
I'm sure in the Japanese version they may have said Floppy because the R and L problem.
Right.
But no, it's Froppy.
Yeah. Froppy.
Sue. Call her Sue. She doesn't like her full name.
Okay, Sue. Froppy or Sue, be like, I just love this character. You're like, she's a great little character. She's not the Titan character of any of our mains, but
I love the episode that it is filler, admittedly, but where they're showing what everyone else was doing during the Hero Killer Stain arc, and she's on that boat, and everyone's making fun of the otter captain for how he's trying to be cute, and no one thinks he is, and she is just doing her dead level best not to fangirl over the guy.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like, so cute, but I can't say anything. Ribbit.
Rabbit.
That was really good, by the way.
Froppy is my favorite character.
Froppy is probably one of my favorite characters. So, like, yeah, it's just the writing in this show. Like, you come back, be like, yeah, like, it's a shonen show, obviously, but it is it's written so brilliantly and executed so well, story-wise, animation-wise, down to your tournament arcs that have a lot of character depth and a lot of emotion. Where
they don't go on for forever.
No, they don't. Be like they take the core of the character. How do you pronounce his name? I'm sorry.
Which one?
Our
main character?
No.
Midoriya?
No.
Bakugo?
No.
Icy Hot?
Todoroki.
Thank you. Todoroki's arc. When him and Midoriya fight or face off.
That's
and it's just episode. it's Todoroki just Midoriya. Sorry, I'm Midoriya just pushing him. It's like, be like, you are not your father. You are not him. Be like, you are you. And it's just be like, use the power that for you, not for him. And it's just amazing build up until Todoroki actually gives in and does it. And it's just amazing. And I'm like, wow, that's writing. That's amazing writing. Because most of your story arcs like that and your traditional shonens don't have that. Yeah. You're going to be like, oh, we're going to get this really cool power up and no character development at all. So I applaud this show for its amazing character writing, its amazing storytelling, and its ability to balance its enormous cast where everything it's not tilting one way with your, little four or five main characters, but you're utilizing all at this point, 20 characters.
There's a bunch.
And that's just Class 1A.
That's just Class 1A.
They have introduced characters from other classes.
They have.
That are still good characters, and you're excited to see them pop up.
Yeah, agreed. So, in that regard, it'd be like you have just this very diverse cast of characters that have unique and different quirks, and they're all spotlighted in some fashion or form, and I enjoy that. So yeah, that's primarily what I enjoy about the show itself. It's writing, it's character development, it's arcs of characters, and it's not drawn out arcs that have no meaning or don't have any bravado behind it. It's just be like, it's straightforward. We're going to tell this amazing story and we're going to get you invested in our characters. And by the end of it, you want more. It's not, when is this arc going to end?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I like about the show. It's just, it has amazing writing and it knows how to write and where it needs to go, and not, we're going to go for, 60 episodes on a tournament arc.
Right.
So yeah,
it's well paced. It's very well paced.
Yes.
Yeah, incredibly well paced. So yeah,
it is almost like they are giving it time for the manga author to actually write the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if maybe he's just more concise and doesn't go into. I don't know what the difference is between this and something like Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Other than I know Akira Toriyama was lost during large portions of that manga writing it, especially near the end. But I do love how concise and how much brevity the show has. It doesn't drag stuff out for long periods of time. It's like, okay, yeah, this is the focus of the arc, and we're going to get through it in about 5 to 6 episodes at most. Yeah. We're going to move on to the next arc. I mean, in the first 2 seasons, you go through 5 story arcs.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z only went through 4 story arcs in 9 seasons. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
200 episodes of Kai, if I remember correctly.
Wow. And
this did it in 40 episodes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Also, one thing I do want to bring up is the idea of All Might. All Might, his character arc, the fact to be like, it'd be like he's this larger than life, the symbol of peace that the world knows, but then you get down to the nitty gritty of his personality, and he's a man who's on borrowed time at this point. Yeah. Like, even in follow up into this movie, they delve with that even further in this movie. But the fact that like he knows, be like, his time is short, but he's going to try to live to the fullest in that extent. Mm-hmm. But he knows his time is limited. He knows his time as a hero is limited, and that's why he chose Midoriya.
So, since you have slowly actually made a great segue point there into our spoiler-free section of our review for this movie, why don't we go ahead and do that?
Okay.
So, Aaron, spoiler-free thoughts on Two Heroes.
Spoiler-free thoughts is I enjoyed the movie. I like the new characters that it introduces, especially Melissa.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it because it brought, even though it's a story primarily about Deku and All Might, it brought other members of Class 1A in. And, most of them got a moment to shine. Some of them were there just to fill space. Mm-hmm. But most of them got a moment to shine in the movie, and it was very good. The villain in it, I felt, was interesting. And the fights were really well done. It was well animated. And the length of this film was good, too.
Yeah.
I felt like no one scene overstayed its welcome. And while I do have, my complaints about the film, which we'll get into later, ultimately, I really enjoyed what this movie did, especially showing glimpses of All Might's past for when he was being a hero abroad.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Overall, I found this film to be a very enjoyable experience.
Jacob?
My system is to a part of yours. I enjoyed this movie tremendously. It uses incredible writing. The pacing in this movie is very well done. I do have some of the issues of how characters just pop up and they're in this story. I do have a slight problems with that, but I'll get that in my dislikes later. The part of the story that really drew me in was primarily the story between All Might and his friend David, and I just enjoyed that tremendously. And it's not the core of the movie, but it's the genesis of where this starts and where everything is going to lead in the very end. It's overall an incredible movie. They bring in the two new characters. But yeah, it's really good. The ending of this movie is incredible. I was jumping up and down, just like, heck yeah, this is amazing. But overall, I enjoyed this movie tremendously. Drew?
I do love this movie. It is a fun one. It is a great story within the My Hero universe. I have some issues, which I'll get to, mostly with the fact that there are some people who show up that don't either they didn't need to be there or they could have introduced them in there better, I think. But otherwise, it's a good story. It has a great look back at All Might's time in America, and it's got a great fight scene at the end. It's almost the perfect superhero movie.
Yeah.
Not the perfect superhero movie, because I have my opinions there, but it is a great one, and it definitely is one that y'all should give a shot to. So I think that's going to bring us to the end of this spoiler-free section of our review of My Hero Academia. So join us on the other side of the bumpers, and we will get to spoiling this thing.
Ray, we're wrong. Okay. This progress is a part of Christian Geek Central Network. And wrong.
Hey, Scoop, what are you doing, man? I don't know. I'm supposed to be reading an ad. All right, hold on. Give me it.
Okay.
All right. This podcast is part of the Christian Geek Central Network at ChristianGeekCentral.com.
There you can find a collection of blogs and podcasts working together to bring you some of the best content on the web for Christian geeks, such as POS TOS. I love Star Trek, which is why I hate bad Star Trek. And with those words, Matt McKinney introduces himself. He is a sad, little bearded fellow who just wants to talk about Star Trek. The problem is Star Trek's complicated. Sometimes it's amazing drama with characters that touch your soul and excitement to put the biggest smile on your face. Other times it's unbelievably wretched, wallowing in miserable cliches and Mary Sues. Of course, being an optimist overall, he knows that the only reason these awful treks bother him is because he's seen it so good. That's also why he has the love of his life, the incredible off-screen Kim, noted cynic, to help him keep in balance. You'll often hear her chime in, swear, and throw things at him. So agree with him or disagree with him, sit back and enjoy POS TOS, and as usual, decide for yourselves. Also, we are a part of Pop Americana, where you can enjoy other shows like Franchise Fatigue. Do you like movies? Of course you do. I bet you even like big movie franchises like Star Wars, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Indiana Jones. And obviously, since you listen to us, you must like listening to movie reviews. But what if I were to tell you there is a podcast that reviews film series one movie at a time? You'd like that? Well, then go check out the Franchise Fatigue podcast over on your favorite podcast catcher, and listen to James and Gabe give an in-depth analysis and review on every movie in your favorite franchise. The following is a spoiler-filled review for the movie My Hero Academia 2 Heroes. Listener discretion is advised. My Hero Academia 2 Heroes was directed by Kenji Nagasaki, who apparently also directed something called Classroom Crisis, but this was the only thing I could find that was not My Hero Academia related in his directorial credits. So I'm just throwing that one out there. It was written by Yosuke Kuroda, who also wrote Gundam Build Fighters, which I think Jacob told me about originally. And of course, the story of manga was written by Kohei Horikoshi, which is what the anime is based on. Getting into the cast, Izuku Midoriya was played in the English dub by Justin Briner, who plays the character of Ginro in Dr. Stone. All Might was played by Christopher Sabat, who played Vegeta and Piccolo in Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super. And technically, I guess he was Piccolo at the end of Dragon Ball itself. Katsuki Bakugo was played by Clifford Chapin, who plays Kappa in Dragon Ball Super. I'm going to say her name wrong. Uraraka was played by Lucy Christian. She played Tenma Skamato in School Rumble, which I'm fairly certain I'm the only one here who watched. Tenya Ida was played by J. Michael Tatum, and in Space Jam: A New Legacy, he's playing the announcer.
Really?
Nice. Yeah.
Okay.
Shoto Todoroki was played by David Matranga, and he played a character by the name of Kay in Cropcraft. Momo Yaoyorozu was played by Colleen Klinkenbeard, and she played Kid Gohan in Dragon Ball Z. And Kid Goku in Dragon Ball, if I remember correctly. Ijiro Kirishima was played by Justin Cook, and he played Dende in Dragon Ball Z. Minoru Mineta was played by Brina Palencia, and she plays Juvia in Fairy Tail. Kyoka Jiro was played by Trina Nishimura, and she is Sherry in Fairy Tail. Denki Kaminari was played by Kyle Phillips, and he played Kineshi Hiro in The Disastrous Life of Psyche K. David Shield was played by Ray Chase, and he actually had a role in a movie we reviewed recently. He is Noctis Lucis Calum in Final Fantasy 15 and his short bit cameo in Kingsglaive.
Ah, okay.
That wasn't the character I was warning you about, by the way.
Okay, well, never mind.
Melissa Shield was played by Erica Mendez, and she is the voice of Retsuko in Agretzko. Wolfram was played by Keith Silverstein, and in Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal and Persona 5 the Animation, he played Masayoshi Shido. Swordkill was played by Adam Gibbs. And Jacob, he played Seta in Grave of the Fireflies.
Oof.
Yeah.
I think we all know how Jacob feels about him.
Yeah, go.
Or
I would point out this is in the dub I watched, not the dub you watched.
What?
Remember?
Or
The
just-
two English
Oh,
dubs?
yeah, there's two
Feelings.
And
dubs.
you watched the older one while I watched the newer one.
Yeah, that's right.
Not that we planned that, but that's what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
Oh
it's
my
supposed to
gosh.
be two unique perspectives.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
The Nobu, which this Nobu was the one that we see in the flashback scenes, which were not voiced in the Japanese version, but they just brought in the English voices for the fun of it. Apparently, he was played by Ben Bryant, and he played Hazel in The Ancient Magus' Bride. Daigo was played by Nazis Tarsha, and he played Grusius in That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime.
Nice.
One of my favorite shows.
Mm-hmm.
And the Cow Lady, which I don't even know who this is. I just saw this credit on there, so I used it. Was played by Caitlin Barr. And she played Ren Soma in Fruits Basket.
So, in that scene where in America, when that hero just sold the millions and he was riding on the back of that behemoth person,
Yeah.
there was a couple of pro heroes who tried to intervene.
Oh,
One of those was a woman who had horns.
Okay, so she's
So
Cow
I'm
Lady.
assuming that's Cow Lady.
That works for
They
me.
never gave her official hero moniker. So,
Fair enough.
yeah.
Kingdom Hearts connections for this episode.
Oh boy, here we go.
Oh, there's only two. Ray Chase, who is David Shield in this, plays the Master in the Kingdom Hearts 2.8 movie that is their supposed to be their way of showing what happened in the mobile game.
Yes.
Doesn't even sound like Noctis. That's all I'm going to say. Keith Silverstein, who was Wolfram in this, was additional voices in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Okay.
And that's the only 2 Kingdom Hearts connections I had. Jacob, info and stuff, if you please.
All right. So, info and stuff. On IMDb, it has a 7.5 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes is a 100% score. Audience, 89%.
Okay.
All right. It was produced by Studio Bones, obviously, because they just do amazing animation. It was distributed by Toho, sorry. Go Godzilla.
Indeed. I'll be watching a Toho film at the end of this week. Technically, a
Won't all of us?
Toho-related film. I've even got a shirt that's supposed to be delivered today for that.
Nice.
All right.
It's got Godzilla and King Kong on and says, why can't we all just get along?
All right.
Why can't we all?
Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?
Why can't we all just get a Kong?
I like that too.
It's my dad joke.
Sorry, go ahead, Jacob.
All right. Its U.S. distributor was Funimation. It was released in July 5th, 2018 at the Anime Expo, and then released nationwide in Japan on August 3rd, 2018. Its U.S. release was September 15th, 2018. Box office. So now the box office. During the opening weekend, My Hero Academia ranked 4th in Japanese box office, grossing 500 yen or $4.9 million in its first 3 days. The movie grossed over 1.6 billion yen, totaling into $14.10 million in U.S. Its U.S. opening was $1.3 million on September 30th, 2018. Its United States gross was 1.7 million, and its worldwide gross was $21.0 million. Going to home release, My Hero Academia 2 Heroes was released on Blu-ray and DVD February 13th, 2019 in Japan by Toho. This is a running theme in our show. Toho.
And that is Godzilla's quirk is Toho.
Yeah. Roar! Pictures. Its North American distribution through Funimation was released on Blu-ray and DVD on March 26, 2019. A sequel film titled My Hero Academia Heroes Rising was released on December 20th, 2019. In Japan, the film was also released in America on February 26, 2020.
All right.
And
Heroes Rising is incredible.
Yeah. And that follows between season 3 and 4, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
I think so.
Okay.
So we can't review that one until me and you get caught up on season 3.
Exactly. And then we might have Aaron on again.
There's a chance.
Yeah, maybe.
There's a very good chance.
Yeah.
I would not say no.
All righty. All right, is that the end of info?
That is in the info and stuff.
All right, summary time. A flashback shows a young All Might in Las Vegas dealing with a couple of villains that robbed a casino, aided by his friend David, who has worked with All Might and designed many of his suits.
Viva Las Vegas.
Going back to the present, All Might brings Midoriya with him to a moving floating city called Island for a convention that is currently happening there. Upon arriving, All Might and Midoriya are greeted by David's daughter Melissa, who welcomes the two and takes them to David. After the reunion, All Might runs tests with David, during which he realizes that All Might's quirk is nearly depleted. He is horrified, believing that All Might might not be able to keep his role as the symbol of peace. Meanwhile, Melissa shows Midoriya around the island, and they run into Midoriya's classmates from Class 1A, who were invited to the island for various reasons. After enjoying the island's events, Melissa invites Class 1A to join a formal party being held with all heroes present. Before the party, Melissa gives Midoriya a gauntlet that allows him to use his quirk fully without getting hurt. Meanwhile, Wolfram, a villain who has secretly arrived on the island and took control of the island's security system during the party and threatens to kill all of its residents. He restrains all of the pro heroes attending, including All Might, and takes David and his assistant Sam hostage in order to break into the island's vault. Midoriya, Melissa, and the rest of Class 1A manage to evade the attackers. They decide to fight the villains and free the heroes by reaching the top of the building and deactivating the security system. Wolfram deploys forces to stop them, but Midoriya and Melissa manage to climb to the top regardless. At the top of the tower, they discover that David and Sam orchestrated the night's events with actors. The goal was to steal back their greatest invention, a headset that maximizes the power of a person's quirk, which had been locked away to prevent it from falling into the wrong hands. David wishes to give it to All Might so that he could maintain his role as a hero. However, Wolfram arrives and reveals that he is not an actor, but a real villain, working with Sam to retrieve the headset for himself. Wolfram steals the headset and attempts to kill Sam and Melissa, but David and Midoriya save them. Wolfram holds off Midoriya, kidnaps David, and escapes to the rooftop. Midoriya fails to prevent Wolfram from taking off in a helicopter with David, but Melissa takes control of the security system and frees the pro heroes. All Might reaches the roof and stops the helicopter from taking off. Wolfram then uses the headset to amplify his power, creating a giant metal body with David trapped inside. He overpowers All Might, revealing that he is secretly in league with All Might's nemesis, All for One, who gave Wolfram additional quirks and orchestrated the night's events to demoralize All Might. Lacking the strength to defeat Wolfram alone, All Might asks for Midoriya's aid. The rest of the students soon arrive on the roof and help All Might and Midoriya, who combine their power to defeat Wolfram, freeing David. As the sun rises, David and All Might reflect on how Melissa and Midoriya are the next generation of heroes, and how the world will be in good hands even after All Might's quirk is gone. And the trivia for this episode: Godzilla is a reference to Godzilla.
Roar.
His quirk is called Toho.
What?
His quirk is called Toho, which is named after the distributor of both Godzilla and the My Hero Academia anime. Koji Koda is the only Class 1A student to not appear in the film. And that is actually all of the trivia I've got for this episode, or this movie. Aaron,
Yes.
you are our guest. Why don't you tell us your first like for this movie?
My first like for this movie is, honestly, I really like the character of Melissa. She is a really great addition, and I think there might be a little bit of foreshadowing that her and Deku might work together in the future, since Deku is essentially One for All's apprentice, All Might's apprentice, sorry. He's the new carrier of One for All. And how Melissa is the daughter of David Shields, his former American sidekick / tech helper. I forgot what the official title of that
It's
position
just a support
is.
hero.
Support hero, that's it, yeah. But support with gadgets. She was sweet and charming, was bold and brave, and wasn't afraid to get her hands dirty, along with everybody else. So yeah, I think my first like is genuinely, I really just like Melissa as a character. I think she's a good addition to the universe.
Okay. Jacob?
All right, my first like would actually be All Might's backstory. Well, the fact that I've only seen the first 2 seasons, and we learned very little about All Might. What's his actual name?
You would ask that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Toshiro.
It's Toshiro, but I can't remember the whole name.
Yeah,
Well,
Toshiro.
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 How they
Yeah,
say it
Toshiro.
in the English dub.
Yeah.
Keep talking, I'll look it up.
So the fact to be like we get this, we get All Might or Toshido, his exchange student adventures in America with his friend David, and we get all these amazing little quirks, pun intended, with their adventures and how All Might started with no superhero suit or anything like that. I think it's just really incredible when you take little deep dives definitely in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't in the series. I mean, obviously it's connected with the series, but at the same time, it gives you so much more detail about everyone's favorite symbol of peace, and it's really enjoyable to watch. And definitely with how the movie ends, where David and All Might are looking at, they're like, oh, this is the generation that is going to bring forth a brighter future, and it's in better hands. I enjoyed tremendously the let's just say I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the background they fleshed out more of All Might's story and how it has its connection to the main plot of the story. So
Okay, All Might's civilian name is Toshinori Yagi.
Toshinori
Yagi, that's
Yagi.
it.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, I have something very brief to add to what Jacob was just saying.
Go ahead.
I do like how once they dispensed with the first villain, David was talking to All Might about how they were running late and they couldn't afford to run late again.
Mm-hmm.
But then on their CB scan, they heard that another villain was attacking somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, All Might immediately looked at David like expecting to go. And he said, we can't really afford to waste any more time. And, he just kept looking at him. All Might kept looking at David. And, of course, David then eased up and said, all right, we'll go help them. And then, All Might started doing that trademark smile of his. It's just amazing that All Might isn't concerned with anything other than helping people.
Yeah.
He, forget press conferences, forget, lectures and all that. If someone's in trouble, he's going to go rescue them.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, it just shows his commitment to what he was trying to accomplish as a pro hero and the beginning steps to becoming the symbol of peace in that world.
Yeah, and the fact also the catchphrase in the show is to go
beyond,
to go beyond.
Yeah,
is the fact to be knowing his condition, knowing his limitation. Now he's still gonna push it as far as he can.
Oh, absolutely.
And he still has to put up this persona of All Might, and he can't convert back into his feeble little form, his base form. But just his endurance of having to stay in his beefed up form,
right?
At extreme expense to his own health, to just to hold on a little bit longer for the students and the kids can do what they need to do to save the day. So I just enjoy that about the film. Is definitely All Might's background and his just his general story.
Absolutely.
So the first I'm going to do here is I love the look on Araka's face when they catch Midoriya with Melissa. Because sure, she's not in love with Midoriya.
Any competition whatsoever. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's
And Melissa's...
oh my goodness.
Melissa's a cutie pie, too.
Oh,
yes. She's an anime character, but she's a cutie pie. They drew her very, very cute.
Yes. But that look on her face where she's like, she's gonna try not to give away the fact that she's super jealous of Melissa at that point, but she obviously can't do that because she's got that look on her face.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because let's face it, she and Deku are made for each other.
True.
Oh, yes. Very much so.
And she's about as good at hiding her emotions as he has of hiding his. So I just love that look on her face during that. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, she's about as incapable of hiding her emotions as he is incapable of not geeking out about something that he likes.
Oh, yeah. So, Aaron, what's your second like?
My second like, it's the final battle. And it's not necessarily the final battle itself. It's when it's that scene where Deku and All Might are going at the same time and charging up their punches at the same time, really seeing that bridge being made between master and apprentice and, representing the past and present of the hero world, but also the future as well in Midoriya. And, when they both just, do a Detroit Smash and then a Plus Ultra. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and then the gauntlet that Melissa gave him to kind of absorb some of the impact in his arm from just how immense his power is, just shatters, just like that shatter played into the shattering of the metal bricks that this guy basically built to try to block them. Because, you know, this guy was beefed up because he had that headpiece that David Shields had made that amplified his quirk. But also, then you realize that, oh no, this guy not only has that quirk, but he has other quirks.
Yeah.
So then you find out, you know, more about how he's working for One for All, or All for One, sorry. And
It is very easy to get those confused.
They are.
yes, it is.
It's like Three Musketeers.
It's very much All for One, One for All. I do like the juxtaposition there, though, between those two statements.
Yeah. It works for the show.
It does, very much. So just seeing that, and then, like, David Shields looking up and thinking he's seeing All Might, you know, back in his prime, but then he realizes it's actually Deku he's looking at. Just realizing, like, you know what, the future is safe because this kid has the same passion and the same strength that All Might has to be the symbol of peace. So that's probably just hands down my favorite thing, my favorite moment in this movie is that scene.
Jacob, your second like?
I think you stole mine, Aaron.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, just be like, no, be like,
because you stole one of mine, so I'm having to use a backup here in a minute.
okay. So, yeah, the ending fight scene of where you have All Might and Midoriya. It's Midoriya?
It's
Deku.
Izuku Midoriya is his name, but Deku
Midoriya.
is his hero name.
Yeah, because I know Deku is more. It's more of a.
He was in full Deku mode at the time.
Yeah, he was in full Deku mode at that point. But I always call him Deku because I would forget his actual name. Because that's more he was picked on. He was called Deku.
Yeah, Bakugo called him that as a mocking thing.
Yeah.
Because essentially that's like saying scrub
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
English.
But then
Yeah.
he owned it.
Yeah.
Which I think just attributes to Bakugo's further irritation.
Annoyance.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that final battle with
What do you expect from King Murder Explosion?
Right. I love that scene when they're trying to pick their own hero
yes,
names.
that is hilarious.
King Murder Explosion.
Yes.
I don't think that'll work.
He's so violent.
He is.
It's like, try again. A couple minutes later.
He's always
Emperor
like,
Murder Explosion. It's like you changed the wrong word.
he's always like, I'll kill you. But really when he just says, I'll kill you means he's just going to kick your butt.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't literally mean kill you because he does want to be a hero.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of issues, apparently. Let's just say that.
I wonder if it's like in Princess Bride where, you know, in Princess Bride, when they say as you wish, that means I love you.
Yes.
I wonder if that's what Bakugo means by I'll kill you.
Yes. That could be.
Well,
That could be what it is.
Well, they say love and hate is the exact same emotion.
Yeah.
Maybe.
There's a paper thin
Maybe.
difference between the two.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's that final bout where Deku and All Might are just be like going all out trying to defeat the villain, and yeah, I just enjoyed the scene. It's incredible, well done by Studio
The animation
Bones.
was great.
Yeah, just
Oh, yes.
tremendous.
This is some of Studio Bones' best work.
Agreed.
in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Agreed. So yeah, it's just that scene where it's the like Aaron said, the apprentice and the master able to work together and just, the lack of a word, clobber the villain to death.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's my second, the final bout.
So
Drew?
my second is going to have to be a cameo by a certain giant lizard.
Oh, roar!
I love Godzilla. I love the concept
It's great.
of
It is.
there's a hero in Japan named Godzilla. Somehow he has never shown up in the show before.
The only downside I can possibly see is they probably most likely just did that for a goof. and then
Yeah,
we'll never see
and we'll
him
never-
again.
Yes, but I just love how it's Godzilla. It's obviously Godzilla.
Yes.
It
looks
wearing
drawn
a
like him.
wearing a Yakuza jacket. And he flashes the peace sign, and you know it's still Godzilla because they actually use the Godzilla roar from the movies.
Yes.
The one from the 60s. I just love that.
Yeah, it's
unless
great.
that was
It's a
unless
good
that was the
cameo.
Shin Godzilla roar, I couldn't really tell because there are differences, some differences. But still, I love the fact that they went ahead and did that. I wish for that's the thing. Legally, there's no reason they can't reuse him in the anime because it's Toho.
Right.
Unless and the manga, maybe there's some issues, but I wish we would get at least he would like show up in another movie. I want to team up between Midoriya and Godzilla fighting. I don't know, Ghidorah.
Oh my gosh.
Or some knockoff of King Kong. That would be funny.
Well, it'd be like it is a hero world full of quirks, and
You
someone could
never
turn
know.
into a very a big Super Saiyan monkey.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it needs to be. He needs to be a golden monkey man. Called Gokong.
Maybe make it reminiscent of the ape form for the Saiyans.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
exactly.
thinking. That's why I want to call him Gokong.
Yeah, that would be great. I would watch that.
I would watch that in a heartbeat.
I'd watch that throwdown.
Toho, if y'all want to do this, I don't expect payment. I just want to see the movie.
Yes.
You do not have to worry about any legal issues coming from anyone here at the Cellcast. Do it, and we will love you.
Yes.
Both of them are finally a worthy adversary.
So yeah, Godzilla is my second like. Before we move on, does anybody have any backup likes they want to go ahead and get out? Because I think we got time for thirds if y'all got thirds.
I really don't.
I mean, just the quality of animation throughout, with some exceptions, but that's going to be in my dislike section.
Okay, then. Well, in that case, why don't we go ahead and jump into dislikes, Aaron? What's your first?
Okay, so the first one, and I know I just teased what I was going to talk about, but I'm actually not going to go with that one at first. That's going to be my second dislike. I have to get this out of the way, and I know this feels like double dipping, but I just cannot. There are no words. There's not enough adjectives in the dictionary to describe my loathing for Mineta. And his addition in this movie is useless.
He's about as useless as some other characters in this movie.
That is
the ones you
true.
aren't
But at
seeing any
least he
actions.
was there.
Yeah, he was there.
He wasn't a cutaway gag every
I
5
mean,
minutes.
Admittedly, he did stop some of those machines, but
He did.
I don't know, man. He's just a pervert, and
He's the
like
most
this.
annoying
I don't know
character in
why.
the
I don't
show.
know why Kaminari hangs out with him so much because it's just. He's just a spaz. Anyway, I know that's probably a really crappy, and really honestly, I'm just throwing that because I couldn't really think of a second legitimate dislike of the film. And really honestly, the first or the other's dislike is really just more of a nitpick than anything. I think if anything, if we learned anything from when I did the Space Jam review with you guys, it's really hard for me to come up with dislikes sometimes.
Fair, it's fair.
So, but yeah, Mineta is going to be my first dislike of this film.
All right.
Jacob?
My first dislike of this film is, okay, we end My Hero Academia Season 2 with our characters going on, what is it, summer break?
Vacation.
Summer
Which is
vacation.
what this supposedly is. Although
And-
technically, what little
Well,
I've
it's
seen of
part of
season
it.
3, isn't there one episode of their last semester
Season 3.
before they take the break for summer camp?
So here's the deal. I think this takes place right before they go to summer camp, which is basically the first part of season 3.
Right.
So yes, they did go on summer at the end of season 2. They are on summer break on Island, and then when season 3 starts, they are continuing their summer, but at the camp. for more
I
training.
just remember that first episode they were doing something on the UA campus that, of course, our pervert instigated.
Oh, it was probably the swimming.
Yeah, it was the swimming thing.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh,
the swimming thing.
I can just see it now.
They ended up making it a competition to see who could
Yeah.
swim the fastest, of course.
It was a weird episode. But I do remember that happening. In my mind, it's like that was the end of their school time, and the next day they were going on summer vacation.
Right.
But yeah, anyway.
So just by chance, all of Class 1A winds up on this island.
Jacob,
Jacob,
why do you do this to me? This is part of my
I know
problem too.
it's set up. I know it's set up. I know
This
that.
is not where I was going to start, but you know what? I'll piggyback off you when you're done.
Okay. Yeah, it's just conveniently that all of Class A shows up on this island. It's like, oh, my family's invited here. Oh, we're working at this restaurant. Oh, we're doing this. Oh, we just showed up for this tournament. Okay.
No. The ones that were there for the tournament, they got there because Bakugo was the winner of the thing, and he got to bring a +1.
That is true.
That's the only one that made sense to me, to be
Yeah.
honest, outside of Icy Hot. Because, of course, he's Endeavor's son. Of course, he got to go.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just more...
How do you find a job like that?
Yeah, exactly. That was my problem. It was like, be like, okay, I understand some of these characters showing up, but your entire class, for the most part, showing up?
Well, only one person didn't show up.
Yeah.
Only one.
Only one of these characters didn't show up. And I'm like...
Tape Man, I believe.
Yeah, Tape Man, of all characters.
No, he was there.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, that's right. He was here.
He's one of the ones that's stuck in the hotel room
I
for
think
the entire
reason,
movie.
Well, no, he was one of the ones in the cafe. I think
Oh, okay.
the ones in the hotel were.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
The girls,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and also I'm so terrible with some of the names.
I am too.
Yeah, Samir.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
no,
I think it's
no,
the one we don't
Invisible
see
Girl
is
was
the one
there.
with the one that you don't see. I think is the one with the naval laser.
Yes, that
yeah.
is the one. Yeah, I'm
But
glad
really,
he wasn't
honestly,
there.
if
He's
you
my-
watch through the credits, though, you actually do see him. He is there
They just didn't
because
give
he's
him,
in a still. It's just a bunch of still shots.
Yeah, he deleted scenes.
Yeah.
Not even that. It's the stuff they put at the end of
Yeah.
the credits.
Yeah.
Stuff they stole from the show, concept art stuff. Anyway,
Yeah. It's just the more convenient that all of Class A shows up on this one island for this one to be like, obviously they got more, their motivations are different, but just conveniently they're all there.
so yeah, this is one of my dislikes also, because here's my thought. You could have done it two ways that would have been so much better. A, they're Class 1A. They're the best of the best at the most prestigious hero academy in the world. Mm-hmm. You could have had a field trip, and it would have worked. Fine. No one would question this. Second way you could do it. Just don't have them show up and let it be something between Midoriya and All Might took them on. Just not have them come.
Yeah.
There really is no reason to have to bring everyone there except, oh, it's a My Hero Academia movie. We got to have as many characters as we can throw in here. And they handled that the worst possible way, in my opinion. At least do it like a field trip. That would have worked.
Yeah.
For me. So yeah, because the goofy way they handled having each of them show up, where they each, I mean, it's a montage. It's like 5 seconds. Okay. Oh, look, there's the girls. What are they doing here? Oh, okay, that's interesting. And oh, look, there's Mineta. Joy, what's he doing
Here.
Oh, okay. Okay, so they've shown this one up. Bakugo's got to show up any second now. There he is! Because we can hear him from miles away.
Oh yeah.
Jiminy Christmas. I know why they wanted to have the characters there, because it's a My Hero Academia movie. You want to have My Hero Academia characters in it. It's not the All Might Midoriya show, like I kind of would have, which is kind of how it felt going into it. I wish we got, it could have worked either way, and I think it worked better for those characters.
Yeah.
So
And
either
that's
have them all be on the plane at the beginning, or just don't do it.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
That's the thing about ensemble animes, though. They're going to always try to add in as much characters from that ensemble as they can.
And I
True.
know I'm just saying they could have done it better.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
no, absolutely. Or they could have just done without most of them.
Yeah.
Honestly, like you said, there's only a couple legitimate ones that had reasons.
We only really needed the core group to get through the fight scenes on the way up the tower anyway, so...
I will say this, in the next movie, Heroes Rising, every single one of the heroes is present in that one, but it makes sense why every single hero is present in that one for what they're doing.
Okay.
And this is how they spend their vacation?
Well, no, this is just the first part
wait till we get to season 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the season 3, like I said, like the summer vacation is comprised of this movie. That's just the first part. Because really, you think about it, this only happens over a day or two.
Yeah.
And then they go to the summer camp, which is where they
get
supposed to
attacked
train
by all
for
the rest of the
summer.
villains.
That's
Yes.
right. That's right.
Yeah, they're always getting attacked by villains.
Yes.
Mhm.
But the
Anyway.
summer camp arc is very good.
Second dislikes, Aaron.
My second dislike, and this is just kind of a nitpick, although I actually do have issue with the one you guys brought up about certain characters being there and why. But, so, Wild Bones has created some of the best looking animes I've ever seen, including My Hero Academia and my Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. They have an issue sometimes with their animation, and I know this is done to save money, but they'll come onto a scene and like they'll have certain people moving and interacting, but then they'll just have other people just being completely still, like seemingly for no reason. Like when they went to the main area where everyone was, there was a table full of like hors d'oeuvres that just had a guy just like putting a hand out like, hey, I've got hors d'oeuvres. And it's like all these other people are around and like it slowly pans up and like that guy just stays frozen like that for like 10 seconds. And like I said, I know this is a nitpick, and
That's a standard anime problem. It's not
Right.
just Studio Bones, because I've seen Toei do this. I've seen JC staff do this.
Sure.
I've seen everybody do. I've
Like I
seen
said,
Madhouse do this.
yeah, like I said, this is a nitpick.
I've seen Studio Ghibli do this.
Okay, that's what I was going to bring up next. I just got done watching Spirited Away for the first time in all of its entirety without being distracted. And there is hardly anything in that character in that movie that's not in motion of some kind.
Right, but
It's like so much like you have to rewatch the same scene like 5 times to see what everyone's doing.
Spirited Away, though, is one of those where it's like the one they had the most money invested.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's what
you
I'm saying.
you look at something like some of their earlier stuff, like
Sure.
Kiki does that in a couple scenes, and heck, Totoro does that in a couple scenes.
Yeah,
But,
and like I said,
or
I
they'll
realize-
have movement, but it's so small on screen because it's at a distance. But yeah,
I realize this is to save on budget and all that, but still, it's just if I had to find another dislike, it was that.
It is almost ridiculous in this digital age to do that sort of thing. I can understand it in the age of cell animation, and I know that TV animation is different, especially anime, because there's like a ton of people working on almost no money, which is always the sad thing about anime. But yeah, it would have been. It almost feels like that was a stylistic reason to keep it anime-esque, but I don't know if that's what it was.
Right.
Anyway,
So yeah, that's my second dislike.
Jacob, what's your second dislike?
My second dislike would be a generic villain. That would be in Wolfram. Am I pronouncing his name? Huh?
You mean less interesting Magneto?
Yeah, less interesting Magneto. The fact that he's a villain with a quirk. He does it for the sake of being the villain. And the twist, he has a...
He's not even fun like a Snidely Whiplash type.
He's not.
Villain for villain's sake.
Yeah, villain for villain's sake, and it's little twist to be like, oh, he's in cahoots with
All for One.
All for One. Like, that's the big reveal, and be like, his
Like-
power is magnetism.
And I'm sitting there going, of course it's All for One. He's the villain of the show.
Yeah.
he's a name drop. That's all for One is in this movie.
Yeah. So it's more, I'd be like, with all the other characters, we get to know them in some fashion or form. Be like, yeah, most of them we don't get to know the villain per se, but Hero Slayer we got to know.
Yeah.
And like most of the villains, we got to know them in some capacity.
And we're getting to know Creepy Kid with all the hands on his body. I don't know his name.
Oh, okay.
You know who I mean?
Yeah.
Aaron probably knows his name.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
trying
know
to think.
his
I'm
name.
trying to think of his name. Shigaraki.
Shigaraki. Yeah.
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 So like, I understand it's a movie, but at the same time, you should, like maybe he has a beef with All Might or something like that. That's why he did it. Or it's just more be like, oh, I'm the villain. Ha 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 ha. And I'm good with your main villain. Ha 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 ha. And I get this main power. Ha 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 ha. That
I need to sound clip your ha ha ha.
Can I get that in a text tone, please?
That needs to be a ringtone. Anytime I get a text from you from now on, it's going to say, ha ha ha. I will see what I can do for you, Aaron. I have it recorded.
okay.
Awesome, thank you.
But it's just, he's a generic character who just happens to be in connection with our main character, our main antagonist from the series. And that's all he is. Be like, yeah,
I got you, man.
The end fight was great, but it was more, okay, we don't know him. We know a little bit about his motivation, nothing else. That's it. I understand a villain's going to be a villain for villain's sake, but give us something about the character.
Yeah, he was an essential component for that fight. That's all he was.
Exactly. Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
Jacob, there's actually a very good reason why they couldn't tell you anything about the character. And it deals with a central problem I have with the movie.
Okay.
This movie, like most anime movies, suffers from a debilitating illness that I like to call can't affect canonitis. Because it can't affect the canon.
That is true.
That's why his bracelet that allows him to actually use full power gets destroyed. That's why, because nothing in this movie will ever show up in the TV show.
Yeah.
Ever. I doubt we'll ever see David or Melissa outside of the movies ever again. Unless, I'm wrong.
I certainly hope so.
I want to see them in the show, but I almost doubt they will. Because this is the same problem most anime tie-in movies have, is they can't affect canon. That's
right. Even though these are technically canonical.
Yes, but they can't, even then, you can't assume people watching the anime would have known where to stop and load up this movie.
True that.
They could, when they were showing it, because I don't know exactly when season 3 started airing in Japan in relation to when this movie came out, but they could not write the show in such a way to assume you'd seen the other stuff without actually doing more flashbacks. And I know My Hero Academia loves their flashbacks because they are horrible about it, in my opinion. But
not as horrible as Naruto was.
True, but I just don't see them actually referencing the movie. Outside of just redoing the scenes, maybe with All Might in America, if they ever show that part of his backstory. But honestly, that part of his backstory is not as important to the rest of the show. So, yeah, I get annoyed. That's one of the problems I usually have with these tie-in movies, is that they can't affect canon in any meaningful way. So, yeah, that's my issue with this one. That's my main issue with the movie.
All right.
Okay.
Anybody have any other dislikes before we give ratings?
All right. So before we get into ratings, we actually have our first write-in to ever in our show. To give a little backstory of what was going on, I had invited a really dear friend of mine, Sabrina RB, to the show to do the review for us for My Hero Academia 2 Heroes. But unfortunately, she wasn't able to do it. And she was really disappointed she wasn't able to be on the show. So I asked her to be like, hey, just give your thoughts. Write down your thoughts. And she did. And so I'm going to read her thoughts of the show for you. And in that way, she's a part of the show. She is with us in spirit, in a way. All right. So this is what Sabrina wrote. I've never been one to enjoy movies based off anime TV series because not how off topic they have a tendency to get. But Two Heroes has me pleasantly surprised in how on brand it stays. I started My Hero fairly late compared to others. So I ended up watching the movie after I ended season 2. Season 3, I've already been released episodes weekly and enjoying them monthly now. And I haven't seen any of it. My husband informed me that Two Heroes really has nothing to do with the chronology of the seasons, and that I shouldn't be confused if I watch it without seeing any of season 3. I'll admit it was odd seeing characters I had no idea who were in David or Melissa Shields, but it was refreshing to say the least to be able to see characters we haven't been able to explore to beyond. As far as favorite or least favorite parts of the movie, to keep in mind, I'm a bit biased between characters such as
Kirishima, Bakugo, Tsuyu, and Aizawa.
would probably have been whenever Bakugo saved Uraraka, when she was risking her life to save Deku and Melissa elevate Melissa and Deku to the top. Seeing him grow as a character and giving him the opportunity to save his classmates was refreshing to me. I also enjoyed the banter back and forth between Kira and Bakugo was fun to see. And also it's also nice seeing characters bonding with each other. I will say though, I had a bit of a tear in my eye when Deku and All Might finished off Wolfram together. It was nice seeing them team up together. I will say though, the whole setup of the party being taken hostage was just probably my least favorite part of the film. That's a big fear of mine when being held hostage at gunpoint at an event. So seeing that gives me a bit of PTSD, but I understand why they did what they did. Also, I know that he's the main character and he's supposed to be important and all, but seeing Deku have the spotlight for nearly the entirety of the film was bothersome to me. I'm not a fan of the whole Mary Sue type character where they are or eventually will become the most powerful and unstoppable character in their universe. But that's just me. Coming to the conclusion that David was in league with the bad guys at the end in order to save All Might was a shock to me. So that was refreshing to see something new. Overall, I enjoyed the movie. Not fantastic, but good. Thank you, Sabrina.
Alrighty.
Awesome.
So, ratings. Aaron, what are you going to rate this film?
I think it is a good movie. It's not fantastic. It's definitely not as good as Heroes Rising, the second one. So, I think, all in all, though, between the animation and the good fight scenes and the feel-good moments, I would give this movie a 7.5.
Alright.
Is that acceptable? Do y'all do 0.5s, or does it have to be rounded to the...
We do 0.5s.
Yeah, 0.5s are good.
Okay. Yeah, 7.5 for me.
Alright. Jacob?
I enjoyed this movie tremendously. It does have a very good, a lot of character development, definitely with the development between David and All Might. I do have problems, like I said in the review, that there are that all of our characters are there just for, for the sake of being there. I understand it's the idea of a story that all of our characters must be there, but just it was more be like, hey, we need all of our characters in here. It's some fashion or form, so they're there. Not giving a really good explanation why. But overall, it was a really good story, minus that, and our villain was kind of, villain weak sauce in a way. Overall, I enjoyed the film, and I would give it an 8. And also tying in with what Sabrina had said, she would give it a 6 or a 7 out of 10.
Okay. I'm going to give this movie a 7. It's got a great fight. It's got some great fight scenes. It's got some logic issues, in my opinion, but all in all, it's a good film. I certainly enjoyed watching it, and I am looking forward to season 3 and Heroes Rising. We'll see what that's like when we get there, but yeah, I enjoyed this one. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7.
Awesome.
And that brings us to the end of another episode. Come, Jacob, we must prepare for next week.
Prepare for what, Drew?
The same thing we do every week, Jacob. Record a podcast!
Oh, boy.
Aaron, why don't you tell us where we can find you at on the internet?
All right. Well, if you guys are interested in hearing my voice a little bit more, you can check out my podcast that I do with a couple of my friends from Austin. It's called Banter Banter. The best way I can describe it is just kind of an easy listening Monday morning show where we talk about just, all things from all aspects of life. We're all elder millennials or zennials. So, born in the, the early 80s, grew up in the 90s. So if that kind of pop culture is your jam, then we hope to be entertainment for you guys. You can check our podcast out on most major podcasting platforms. If you're interested in following us, you can follow us at Banter Bantercast on Facebook or Banter_cast on Twitter. And if you would like to follow me individually on Twitter, you can find me at 8BitWizard. That 8 is going to be Roman numerical.
Alrighty.
All right. So I do have to say, I like it how you described yourself as a elder millennial.
That's pretty much what we are.
Yes. That's why we get along so well. We all know what's up.
Yeah, that's
Old
true.
enough to have grown up with VHS. Young enough,
very true.
Young enough to remember the hamster dance on the internet.
Oh gosh,
yes. It's beautiful. We have a special kinship.
That is true. That is so true.
So I think that's going to bring us to the end. Of course, our information will be on the outro. So I don't know, since we're not sure where this movie's going to this review is going to release. I don't know what our next movie is. So whatever it is, I'm sure you'll enjoy it because our reviews on it. Because hey, you're listening to us already. So yeah, join us for whatever that is. And this has been Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we'll catch you in the next frame.
Go beyond
plus ultra. The Cellcast will return with Tenchi Muyo in love. So where can they find you, Jacob?
You can find me on Facebook at Jacob B. Heron, also on Facebook at Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where I try to draw each and every day. I don't get to it as often as I like, but join me there. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Jacob B. Heron, on Twitter at Jacob Heron, and Letterboxd at Jacob Heron. So where can they find you, Drew?
You can also follow me on Letterboxd at GGeorge759, Facebook as Drew Dodgen, my Facebook page where you can see pictures I've taken at Drew's Photo Bin. You can also follow me on Twitter at GGeorge759.
You can email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com.
You can also follow us on Twitter at cast_cell.
You can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/thecellcastgaming.
You can also follow us on YouTube at Cellcast.
Listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts,
Google Play Podcasts,
Stitcher,
Spotify,
and your favorite podcast directory.
You can also listen to us on the Movie of the Week podcast with Jim Heron, where we talk about live-action movies. And remember, Cell is a single L.